Passionate friendship. We live in a world in which the majority of encounters and interactions involve work and commodity exchange. In other words, the dominant forms of relating are economic, based on the predominance of surviving over living. In such a world, it is no surprise that the concept of friendship no longer has much value. Today, neither the daily interactions of one's communities, those strange, disconnected communities of family, school, or work, nor the chance encounters at the market, on the bus, or at some public event, have much chance of sparking a real and intense interest in another, an impassioned curiosity to discover who they are and what we might be able to create with them. The common thread that runs through these not-so-varied interactions is that they originate in the operations of domination and exploitation, in the social order that eviscerates our lives and to which most people grudgingly submit. The sorts of relationships most likely to spring from such a situation are those that reflect the humiliation and social poverty inherent in it. Based on the necessity to escape the isolation of a crowded but atomized society, a generalized friendliness that is slightly more than mere politeness, since it permits harmless light mockery and safe, substanceless flirtation, develops. On the basis of this generalized friendliness, it is possible to meet some individuals with whom to commiserate more closely, people with whom to share a beer at the pub, go to football games or rock shows or rent a movie, whatever. And these are one's friends. It really is no wonder that what is called friendship today so often seems to be nothing more than the camaraderie of mutual humiliation and disrespectful tolerance. All we really have in common is our shared exploitation and enslavement to commodity consumption, and our differences mainly lie in our social identities, themselves largely defined by our jobs, the commodities we buy, and our uses to those who rule us. There is really very little to spark pride, joy, wonder, and passion in our so-called friendships. If the deep loneliness of massified, commodified society does draw us to others, what little our impoverished beings have to offer each other soon leads to resentment. Thus, interactions between friends at this time seems to be mostly dominated by comic mockery and the various forms of one-upmanship. While such forms of play may indeed be amusing as part of a strong relationship based on real mutual pleasure, when it becomes the main way of relating, surely something is lacking. Some of us refuse to accept the impositions of exploitation and domination. We strive to create our own lives, and in the process create relationships that escape the logic of submission to proletarianization and commodity consumption. By our own will, we redefine our commonalities and our differences, clarifying them through the alchemy of struggle and revolt, basing them on our own passions and desires. This makes the form that friendship tends to take in the society completely unpalatable. To simply tolerate another out of loneliness and call this one friend, how pathetic. Starting from that sense of pride that moved us to rebel, that point of selfish dignity that will not tolerate further humiliation, we seek to build our friendships upon the greatness we discover in each other, joy, passion, wonder, sparked both by what we share in common and by how we differ. Why should we expect less of friendships than we do of erotic love? Why do we expect so little of them both? Rebellion sparks fire in the hearts of those who rise up, and this fire calls for relationships that burn. Loves, friendships, and yes, even hatreds that reflect the intensity of rebellion. The greatest insult we can give another human being is to merely tolerate them. So let us pursue friendships with the same intensity with which we pursue love, blurring the boundaries between them, creating our own fierce and beautiful ways of relating, free of that logic of submission to mediocrity imposed by the state and capital.